So what you are seeing here, the collapsing of these people, is not a reflection of a reality. It is more a reality of a fear, of a feeling, of a nightmare. This was the part in the film that more than a dream became a nightmare. In this scene, Silverio Gama is feeling kind of comfortable walking in a city that he hasn't walked in a long time. The nature of an immigrant, once you leave your country for so long, you know that even wanting, you cannot go back.
Alejandro wanted to use these wide-angle lenses. I felt that it was his way of writing and telling the story visually. The whole film is photographed with two lenses, with anamorphic lenses, which are these lenses that photograph the landscape of Mexico in an incredible way, and the actors are very present. Silverio is very present. We are around him, and we see his world mapped around him. Silverio is on a walk into the past, he's on a walk into his past, or the past of his country, of Mexico.
To create this, we mix things from the past 5 decades. You can see that in the vehicles, in the cars, and the props. We modified awnings, we modified the shops that were there.
Our first conversations with Alejandro, we decided just to keep him in one costume throughout the film because we didn't want to confuse the spectator. If we were going to abstract Silverio from the color world that we have, we went through many ideas first to have him all dressed in black, but we thought it was his funeral. So we worked in this color palette. We did so many camera tests to find the correct color and texture in Silverio's jacket. So we decided to abstract him, not completely out of color, but like just in a shade of greens, and the opposite of all the background and his family that have these vibrant colors that sort of represent our culture. The first body fall down, followed by the hundreds of bodies. They represent all the people that have been disappearing in our country.
¿Necesita ayuda?
No.
Déjeme que...
No me toque.
¿Qué le pasa a la señora?
No sé.
¿Está muerta?
No estoy muerta. Estoy desaparecida.
We decided from a point of view of costume to do a mix of different eras because this hasn't just happened now. It's been happening for the past 6 decades.
Dígame, señora, ¿qué tiene?
Créame, más le vale no saber.
The sound is exquisitely moving from a cumbia to the sound of the bodies collapsing. And this cumbia that is always in Mexico, this contradictory of energy and electricity and joy with death around us. We have this time-lapse shot that we have to make 1 year in advance. To get this lighting right all the time in the street, we have to wait for months. We have to close thousands of stores to negotiate with them to create this atmosphere.
We had to break it down in different ways. We created a matching floor of the street which Silverio walks in the stage, and we put the lighting and screens all the way around in order to have the change of light that we needed.
It was a tactical challenge when you read the script and you know what you are going to have to go through with your team, and some with the visual effects helping us. But it was always triggered by the human side of the character, by Silverio.
Some elements of sound, they don't sound like wind, no, or like rain. What makes them sound is the actual surface. The same happens with loneliness or empty spaces. Each footstep has this taka, taka, no? And that tells you, I'm the only one here. It's not about the reality of the city, no? It was about the memory of sound.
We didn't want to create the night with the lights on. The idea for me was that this should be more than a nightmare, it was a metaphysical feeling.
Alejandro showed us some surreal paintings that he loved from Chirico and Paul Delvaux. Not really a day for night, you know. It's more like a early morning that never ends.
The main Plaza de Zócalo is really the center of the city, where the big massacre of the Tenochtitlan happened. It's always full of demonstrations, full of people, full of elements. But in this case, we managed to have it empty for us. We broke the scene basically in two big pieces. One was the Zócalo by itself with some smoke and Silverio walking, and then we matched the Zócalo in a studio where we created that pyramid of bodies. You can plan, you can have the elements. And then we start placing the bodies with Alejandro and then using some water and blood, and we started to make like a tableau. It was almost like painting. It was a very beautiful moment. That moment I will keep it always.
We're really at the search of something, you know. We're playing with reality and stretching reality. Everything had a meaning, had a purpose.
All this light changing and all this sound contrast, it's what we all wanted to express through a very single stroke of emotion. As Buñuel said, a film is just a dream being directed.
¡Corte! ¡Martín! ¡Martín, carajo! ¡Que nadie se mueva! ¡Vamos a hacer...
¿Qué hola, cabrón? ¿Cómo estás?
No, esperen. Vamos a hacer otra, Martín, que no se mueva la gente.